Hello everyone. So, hello friends, and I have decided that I will read this Bhagavad Gita. So this Bhagavad Gita is basically uh, interpreted or published by the organization called ISKCON. So they have published it, printed it, and they have their own interpretations, which originates from their uh, guru and disciple. So what we call master and disciple chain. So whatever things are mentioned here, actually they have their origin in the master and disciple relationships. So now from today I will start reading this Bhagavad Gita, and I have also this its translation and its interpretation. Okay. So this Bhagavad Gita has a lot of shlokas and many chapters, like around 18 plus chapters. So let's start with the first shloka. So in first shloka it is said, Dhrutarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamaka pandavaschaiva kima kurvata sagyaya. I will read it again. Okay, I am reading this again. धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेता युयुत्सवः मामका पांडवाश्चैव किम कुर्वत सज्ञया संजया. Sorry, it was a Sanjaya, right? So let me tell you the true or the literal meaning of this shloka. So the literal meaning of this shloka is like Dhrutarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight? Okay, so here Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya a question, right? Now let's read the its interpretation, right? So I have like two three paragraphs of interpretation. So yeah, so Bhagavad Gita, so they are saying that Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya. Gita Mahatmya is basically the glorification of Gita, right? So there it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of person who is devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations, right? So basically the ISKCON people, they are saying that I mean, in fact they have written here in this book that this their interpretation uh, should not be motivated by some other interest, right? So that's what they are trying to say. The example of clear understanding is there in Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretations, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the word. One will, okay, so they have, right, mentioned few more things, right? So let's read it. So one will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in the other scripture, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is specific standard of the Bhagavad Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Right? The topic discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle of this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally in this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharmakshetra, a place where religious rituals were performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the supreme personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of Kurus. Who is Dhritarashtra? He is the father of Kurus. He was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. So, in his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, right? Who is Sanjaya? So, Sanjaya is basically secretary of the Dhritarashtra. So, what he is asking? He is asking that what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? He was confident that both his sons, like his sons and son of his younger brother Pandu, were assembled in that battlefield of Kurukshetra for determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. Why? He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers. He wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield, because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven. So Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. He was also knowing that Pandus were virtuous by nature. Sanjay was a student of Vyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, why Sanjay was able to visualize what was happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? It was because of the mercy of Vyasa. Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra, right? So even he was in the room of Dhritarashtra, he was able to visualize what was happening in the battlefield. And so Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family. But Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed that only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephew, the sons of Pandu, right? As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. As in the paddy field, the necessary plants are taken out. So it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of the Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and thoroughly religious person headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the word Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra apart from the historical and Vedic importance, right? So this was the interpretation of the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So I have read the actual Sanskrit shloka, then its English translation and its interpretation by the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So I have read the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita from this book, right? So thank you so much. We'll meet in next video, and we'll read the second shloka. We'll read the shloka in Sanskrit language, its English translation and its interpretation, right? So we'll go through all three things. Thank you so much for watching this video.